take a week off and have us all be together.
Yeah.
And welcome to episode 55 freaking 0. 50.
That's so many.
That's a lot.
Ripping the Rack podcast.
So many.
So many. I am. That's who I am. Who do you think you are? I am.
Who do you think you are? I am.
That is. Oh, by the way, this is Ripping the Rack podcast.
Yes.
Just so you know.
What's up?
I am 1/3. I am 1/3, I guess, of the Triforce Tri hosts. I am Tim. With me on my left, which could be your right, or it could be on top or on bottom. Don't really know. Brian, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
what's up, everybody?
And our third leg, always the third leg, the favorite leg.
It's my
Hockey
favorite leg.
Pins. It's my
What's up?
favorite.
You know what
I'm
I mean?
not gonna say it was my favorite leg.
Definitely our wives' favorite leg, though.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
Could be.
absolutely.
I hope.
So far,
Maybe.
so good. Let's leave it there. So far, so good.
So I neglected to say this last week, so I'm going to say it this week. I'd like to wish my wife a very happy anniversary. We hit 21 years last Thursday.
My goodness. Congratulations, bro.
Thank you. She
You
has
bowled wonderfully on your anniversary.
Oh my God. I actually walked out of the bowling alley without talking to anyone.
You did, dude. I was like, is Tim mad at everybody?
I
Because he just
was
left.
So
Even my dad, Mark, you know Ray. Ray's
Yeah,
like, Is Timmy mad?
I was so angry. I was angry at a bunch of things. Well, I mean, look, Brian and I had a little father-son tiff, brotherly love.
It happens. It happens.
does.
We had
It
a Dale
does.
and Brennan moment.
We had a Dale and Brennan moment, and so of course Brian irritated the fuck out of me, and I irritated the fuck out of Brian. So it was a mutual irritation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like herpes. It was a mutual irritation, and
That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one way to talk. Yeah.
and then we lost 6 points.
Yeah,
We're in first
yes.
place.
Oh, we
we're
lost 6 points.
We're trying to wrap it up early, and
It's not going to happen. We got 2 weeks left.
we lost to a team that I am happy that they're bowling, but we're giving them about 90 pins of string, and it would normally be over 100 pins, but they had a sub last week,
Yeah.
that a good bowler, and everything he shot at went.
I don't think he shot a break all night that didn't have a plank in front of it. I mean, every single 9-drop had a plank. Every 8-drop was covered by a plank.
And when I'd get a cut shot, like a 2-1, and I'd cut it in front of the pin. I'd cut it too much.
Or
Those are
Timmy'd
so
be on
annoying.
the
Those
right.
nights are so annoying.
Or
Timmy'd be on the right. He'd throw a bomb, and this dude would hit the 4-7 pocket, wrap around 9-drop with 6 planks in front of the pin.
yeah. So, like one example, and again, this is totally on me. I had a 9-pin drop with 38 pieces of wood all around it, and I'm looking at this going, well, I can play anywhere basically. And I went just to the right of the pin, thinking I'd drive everything straight back, and somehow 72 pieces of wood went all around it
Mm-hmm.
and never moved it. And I just kind of sat there like, what just happened? I got so confused.
It was also another one of those nights where you would miss a shot like that, or you'd hit it and it wouldn't go, and then you watch the dude who averages 92 cut the 410, and you're like, what?
Yes.
That happened, by the way.
That
That's
happened.
a true story. Dude
Yes.
averaged 92. He cut the 410 like it was like he was Craig Holbrook in the world. Just
That is not supposed to happen ever.
I mean, and I do like the guys that we bowled. They're good guys. A couple of them a little special. That's okay.
Right?
They're there every week.
they try, they bowl really well.
Right.
They're awesome dudes.
And
I'm
they were
happy they're
so
there.
excited about beating Brian and I that's all they could talk about from the first string on was that Oh, we just beat
And
beat
it
you
wasn't,
guys.
we weren't irritated with them. We were just irritated at a whole bunch of other stuff that happened to be on league night.
Correct.
Right.
And it just
One of the
yeah.
dudes came up to me after and was like, I didn't mean to laugh when you punched. It just happened. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Cause like, no, like I punched the 1-5 on a spare and he started
Oh.
laughing and I turned around and I think I might have given him the death glare.
I would have too, to be
And then Tim had to look at me like, Ryan, he wasn't laughing at you. I don't know what it was, but he wasn't at you.
Well, it was
It was
really
a-
shitty timing.
It was a really
It was a rough night in
it
Oakland
was
Park
a
Lanes.
really bad night. Just and unfortunately it carried for me, it carried over to Saturday night at the ladder qualifying at Stars and Strikes. I
With everything from bowling to technical difficulties to
it was I would have been better off staying home. Except for I did get to Grant's Bakery, which is one of the
there's
best,
some good pastries.
which is one of the best bakeries in the history of Evers.
Where is this?
It's
And
in-
what's
it's
the
in-
address?
It's in
I can go?
Lewiston.
It's
It's
in
in the
Lewiston.
Dirty Lou.
It's in the Dirty Lou, and
The
it's
Dirty
on
Lou.
it's on Sabata Street as you're heading towards Gardner.
It might be one of the few things in Lewiston worth going to.
Oh my God, we honestly, there's been times Angie and I have driven from Rockland to Lewiston. Don't tell my mother this because she only lives the next town over. Go to Grant's Bakery and then head back home.
You
it's
don't
an hour and a
go
half.
see Betty.
It was during the pandemic. I couldn't put my mother
You
at risk.
could have stayed in your car and at least waved Timothy.
I could never
She
put
is
my
a
mother
saint.
at risk. Ever.
She's a saint.
So I did get a chance to stop there, but my my night of bowling was summed up in the fourth string when I missed the head pin 8 out of 10 boxes. I don't remember the last time I bowled an entire string and missed the head pin 8 out of 10 boxes. Of those 8, 3 of them were 9-pin drops with the head pin as the last one, and I missed all 3. One of them, I don't even know if I stayed in the same lane. Like my ball might have gone. Like I think that was on lane 10.
Did it go
And my
hard
ball-
left?
The first one for the spare went hard right, meaning I never even like. It went down there's the walkway to go down. I'm pretty sure it ended up over there.
I was gonna say lane 10. That's right next to where the pillars are.
Yep.
Next to lane
did you
11 and
hit
12.
did you hit
Did
the
pillar?
dock in the ocean? Like you threw it in the ocean, but did you hit the dock somewhere over on the other side of the ocean?
I think I hit the other ocean because I think the next ball then went over on lane 9. I think I don't know. I honestly, it was one of those. I literally I did the John Cena. I looked at my hand like, you can't see me. No shit. I can't see my ball either. I don't know where the hell it's going.
Did you have your glasses on, Tim?
Yes, I had my glasses on.
Well, if I was there, I would have given you the Romeo pep talk from Tin Cup. I would have been like, all right, put all your change in your right pocket. All
I
right,
did that.
double knot your right shoe.
I did that.
Take this pen, put it behind your left ear.
Yeah.
I short of taking my underwear off, turning it around, putting it back on, I tried just about everything.
Well, that's why you failed. You didn't take your underwear off and put them back on backwards.
Well, that's true.
You should have you should have done that. The bathroom was only right there. You could have done it, or you could have just dropped trowel and not
I
cared.
know. So then, of course, I didn't qualify, which obviously I didn't qualify. So I'm like, okay, not a big deal. I was going there to announce the ladders anyway, the ladder matches.
Unfortunately, Marky and I weren't able to make it.
Correct.
No, I was
And
not.
we had so many technical difficulties that we ended up having to use my laptop camera.
Tim called me at one point.
I couldn't get it. Nothing in the history of Evers would work.
It's funny because it came up on my phone as Stars and Strikes is calling you, and I went, "Oh, this isn't good."
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm like, "Colin, buddy, eat your mac and cheese and watch Wheel of Fortune. I gotta help Uncle Tim."
But on a positive note, we will be able to put an actual bowling show together, the
Yes.
3 of us. I am not putting a timetable on this. I did not give Rusty a timetable, just because our schedules have to align in order for this to be done. and I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks and heading out to Vegas. And I've got
Mark and I are going to Colorado in June for things.
well,
We're preparing for that.
my goal, and I'll talk to you guys off camera about this, would be, hopefully, maybe by the time I went to Vegas, we could have this, at least the voiceovers done, and then you guys could work on the editing portion of it.
Oh, perhaps we'll take a look at it and see what we can get figured out.
We'll figure that out. Figure that off camera.
So Tim, you didn't qualify, but who did qualify?
I have no idea because I didn't qualify, so I didn't pay attention.
Well, that seems like Tim things to do.
I am just kidding.
Are you the guy that like goes out and double bogeys one and is keeping the card for everyone? You get to the clubhouse, you're like, how we do? I don't know. I haven't kept score.
Shit, I knew I forgot to do something.
No, because number one, I wouldn't double bogey the first hole.
I've seen you do it.
Not the first hole. Maybe the second. Not the first. Triple bogey.
I saw you double bogey. I saw you double bogey one at Rockland. Of course, we played it as like 12 that day, but.
Oh, man. So let's see. The qualifiers were Cole Fry qualified number 5 with 650.
Ooh, big qualifier.
That is a massive number for a
massive
cut.
number. They had a decent turnout. There was 21. I would have been better off.
Thank everyone that came from far away, New Hampshire, Massachusetts.
We had 2 people from Massachusetts, New Hampshire area. Freshie and Josh Daly made the trip up. Josh Daly, I told him going into this that Stars and Strikes is a right-handed lane, and a left-hander cannot beat me there.
He was telling me about that Friday night before we were bowling the Pro League up at Lita, and he came over and he's like, "What the hell does Tim even mean? Like it's a right-hander's house. He's got no shot. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna crush this guy. I don't care who he thinks he is."
So guess who did not beat me on Saturday?
Did Mr. Daly struggle?
Mr. Daly did not beat me. I beat Mr. Daly. So
it's a right-hander house.
A left-hander has not beat me there. I'm just saying, it's a right-handed bowling alley.
That is one of the.
I have lost to plenty of right-handed bowlers there.
That's one of the bowling alleys I have a 500 at. I can't say no that it's not a right-hander's house.
You have a 500 on the dot?
501.
Oh, you should have had one more pin. You could have tied me, but see.
Well, see, the thing was, I already took your house record up at 1710.
I know.
And I really didn't want to take another one. I didn't want to destroy your spirits that badly, Tim. We've been friends a long time. There's plenty of house records to go around. You know what I mean?
Right.
I appreciate that. I really do.
And here's Brian just sitting here going, "Yeah, nice, guys. Yeah, it's cool.
Well, look, if you have a house record, you can speak in this podcast. So, Maki, how about it, buddy?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's thing. But if you're in a podcast with 2 other guys that have a house record, you should be able to speak in this podcast too.
Okay. You're right.
Okay, yes. Absolutely.
All right.
Definitely.
This is a
man. No one was going to tune in if they had to listen to just Tim talk. It was going to get that way pretty soon.
Oh, you kidding? Apparently that's all Calvin thinks is that's all that I do is talk. But the hell else? I can't bowl. I might as well talk. So anyway, let's get back to the qualifiers. Cole Fry, 650.
Nice job, young man.
Corey Cooper, 651. That was his high 5.
Very awesome job.
That's excellent. Love that.
I have watched Corey bowl since he was a wee lad of about 12 or 13 at Bangor Brewer Lanes.
Yes.
And he has come a long way, and he is a very good bowler when he puts his mind to it.
Yes. Yeah. I like Corey. Corey's a good dude. And I was happy to I was very happy to see him make the cut, especially with a score like that. Because let's face it, he was 2 pins away from not qualifying. And to bowl your high 5 and not qualify, that's kind of a gut punch. I mean.
But here we go with a tournament atmosphere. There's a lot of iron in the room. And you stepped up and threw your high 5 of your life. Qualified. I mean, yeah, granted, it was only 2 pins away. But it doesn't matter.
matter.
It was 2. All you got to do was win by 1. He won by
Rumble,
2.
young man, rumble.
He made
Yep.
it by 2. Nice job. Great job for them.
Chris Merrill was the number 3 seed with 657.
Boy, Chris.
And to only lose to Merrill by 6 in the same house. Like,
Yep.
they bowl out of there, and he's coming off the Easter, and only lose to him by 6.
Yep.
Good job, young man.
Doug Smith, who missed qualifying.
Dougie, teach me how to Dougie.
Dougie missed qualifying the first ladder by 1 pin.
He made sure that did not happen
He
this
did
time.
not. He
I'll
went
take it.
Not this time.
683.
My God.
Tied with Mark Carrier at 683. Mark had the higher string, so Mark went in at the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
For those that were watching live, saw Cole Fry knock off, upset Corey Cooper. Corey was a 4 seed. Cole was 5th seed. That then brought Cole Fry against Chris Merrill. Cole Fry knocked off Chris Merrill.
Big win for Cole.
Wow.
Good job, bud.
Went
That's
to the
a
number.
statement right there for the
That
young
was. Then took on Doug Smith and knocked off Doug Smith.
Wow.
My
Cole
goodness.
running.
Nice
So we
job,
had a
kid.
championship match for the second time in a row for Mark Carrier. Mark bowled against Chris Merrill in the first ladder.
Well, he threw a ball at some objects down there.
He threw a ball. Cole started out, threw a big hammer, and then matched it with a spare. So he starts out strike spare. Mark gets up, goes spare strike. And I'm like, all right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here
Good
we go.
match.
And then the wheels fell off for not both of them, just kind of it was a struggle after that. Cole Fry ended up winning. He ran the table.
Nice job to the kid.
Good job, Cole.
Oh,
So
boy, way to do it.
By the way, he runs a random draw doubles in Bangor on Friday nights. Everyone is welcome. So if you're up in Bangor in the area, go check that out.
yes, it's pretty cool. Someday I will make it up there for it.
Maybe me too.
It would be it's pretty fun. They don't get a lot of people. They've had as little as I think like 6. They've had as many as I think 10 or 12. But they do it every Friday night. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, I saw on Candlepin Chat in June. Is it June? Yeah, the week after the Candlepins for Cancer thing. A cool format I've never seen before is at Stars and Strikes, a 3-person team event, marathon. First bowler bowls boxes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. And then
Second bowler bowls boxes 4, 5, and 6, I think.
Something
and
very
then-
similar to that, yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but it's a 9-pin tournament. And then the last bowler bowls the last 3 or 4 boxes. I can't remember how it breaks down.
That's very 10-pinny. That's how
Yeah.
the 10-pin formats are in
yeah,
a team's
their
environment.
team, yeah.
First bowler bowls the first and the 6th box, second bowls the second and the 7th, and then
Yep.
so on and so forth.
Yep.
And then you add in the no tap, the 9-pin tournament, basically. That could lead to some ridiculous high scores and it's unique. I like
It's
it.
unique. I've never. I want to say. I don't know as if they filled it yet, but I think they only had like 2 spots left.
Would you guys like to do a Candlepin tournament like that? I was just thinking that how much fun that'd be. You bowl like a 5-man tournament, but the leadoff guy bowls 1 and 5, or 1 and 6, 2 and.
Oh.
So
Boy.
it'd be a really quick tournament, but you'd only bowl 2 boxes of string.
I know, but my God, sometimes it takes me 3 boxes just to loosen up.
That's how I might run a round robin type
Yeah.
tournament.
No, not like a Worlds
Right.
or anything like that. Just like a fun. This is just come show up and see if this is fun.
I think it would be.
I think
Very
you could.
much so.
You know what I think would be fun. I think you could do like 3-string matches that way because you're only bowling literally 3 strings, so you could get 3-string matches pretty quick.
I don't know if I do it the 10-pin way of like 1 and 6, 2 and 7. I would do the first 2 boxes. is one guy. The next 2 boxes will be the next guy. Like, so it
Oh,
would just
world's format.
A world's
Right,
format with
but-
five people. So the first bowl
Bowling.
bowls two. The first two.
Yeah.
right, one cumulative string amongst the
Yep.
entire team, not like each guy is bowling his own string kind of situation.
I like that. Again, though, it's only the older I get, the more harder it becomes.
But you know what you could do that way?
loosen up, though.
You could bowl a game, but it's a 5-string match at that point. You could bowl just like a single world string, but it's a 5-string match, and you're just doing the sheets. Like every turn is a string.
That's true. Then you're looking at about an hour per game, which would kind of average back off to
Yeah.
basically everybody bowling one game in a 1-string round robin type tournament. That's kind of unique. Or
You
unique,
get
as
points
kids
based
say.
on the turns.
Yes.
So you'd overall get 2 points if you won the string. Obviously, that'd be your total.
So
But you could get points going out through, like, that would make it interesting because no longer is it just a single string that can make you win a tournament. It could be the last 3 turns of a tournament.
So-
You got some wheels turning.
Yeah.
Yeah, at this point.
if
New
the
tournament thoughts from Brian.
okay, so your first string,
Is your first turn through. It's
Is your
boxes
first-
1 and 2 of the...
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I got a whole bunch of gambling
How do
addicts
you-
thinking how they can do this in the worlds and individual matches.
How do you fill the 10th box per
The
se?
person who bowled 9 and 10
Yeah, it's your
stays
anchor
up
man.
and
That's why
yeah.
he's there.
No,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is,
Oh, it's the okay. So if
I'm
it's
in the second
turn,
box, so
yeah,
let's say the three of us, let's say 5 people bowling Maki, you're bowling 5th. Okay, I'm bowling for whatever it is. I bowl my first 2 boxes. It is now on you. We bowled 8 boxes now.
Yep.
It is now on you to bowl your first 2 boxes of your string, but that is going to factor in.
It's the 9th and 10th of
Oh no!
the game.
Here's the fun thing: it's his fill ball of the actual whole string. So you got to wait until the next 2 boxes of the turn to
see
figure out
what
if you
you
won
get
the
on your-
first string.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're bowling your normal game. It's like what do they call them, Nassau's or something in golf where you match cards at the end.
I have no idea.
You ever played that? Tim?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while, but I mean,
Right.
I know it. I certainly know what you're talking about when it comes to that.
Right.
That's funky. That needs a little bit more thought, and I think that
Because then you got
there's-
12 points a string.
Yeah, two for the turn.
Yeah.
2 for each turn. So there's 5 turns. There's
And
10,
then
and then 2 for
If
total.
you win the string, it's total.
There's something in that.
That's some big swings because if you think about it, you get in the last match and it's 2 points separating the first and second place team. It's no longer just if you win the match. It's, oh crap, we lost 3 turns. Now it's even, but they got a pin count. If we can win these 2 and cancel out total, like you're bowling like 3 different teams at once.
Mm. There's some peanut butter in that sandwich.
I like
It's
it.
something to think
We
about.
get it.
I'm
we
going
get
to
it.
think about that. I'm going to put some pen to paper on that and
Yeah.
see if I can come up with something decent.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool concept, Brian.
Mm.
I know
That's
a guy
pretty
that
cool.
runs a bowling alley. I might think of something. We can come up with something good. and
Because
see if
think
I can get
about
some
it at that
guys in
point,
here
it's
to
not
play with
only
that.
because in the worlds, and I know we're getting off topic here. This is just kind of spur of the moment, but in the worlds, you think about you pick your 5 guys up there that gel and can bowl a cumulative string of each of their strings being great. Now you're looking at 5 guys that not necessarily will bowl 125 every string, but they don't have any 6 boxes. They don't have any blow up boxes because those, yeah, they could have a strike 2 box. That 2 box might not hurt them in their 125 game, but it hurts you in the turn.
Fact.
Or double strike, 1 fill, 2 box. That
would
really
hurt.
hurts.
That would really hurt in
You
this
don't
format.
want to do that ever.
You want to see Craig Holbrook laugh, though? Do it during the Worlds against his team.
Yeah.
Double strike, 1 fill, 2 box, and then rip a fucking hammer right after that.
That 4-pin Tim never stood a
Never
damn
stood
chance.
a damn chance. Neither did that 7-pin on the for the
third ball.
10th, for the third ball.
I've seen at the Worlds, I've seen strike, two fill, two box. I've never seen double, one,
Yeah.
Our
two.
first year
strike.
at our first
Then
year
strike.
at Academy. Was it Academy, Brian? Or was it
It was
Lakeside?
Academy.
It was
No,
Academy.
it was Academy. I wasn't on the Lakeside team.
Okay.
That was
I
Mark. That was
know.
the other first try
That
host.
was the other. So I
Is that Lawrence?
No, this is Luna. This is our pod.
Oh.
Our part. Okay, he doesn't want to say hi. I'm pretty sure I've said this story before, but we're bowling Holbrook. We're bowling Maria's, and I rip a double. After I rip a double in the Worlds, what do? I'm all excited. It happens. I get back up for my turn. I proceed to throw the first ball at the 4-pin. Picked it clean for a one fill on the first one. Dead in the face. Proceed to throw the next ball through the 4-hole for another one fill.
And I'm hurting because I'm keeping score for this. And I'm like, oh, God.
And I'm now not happy, obviously. And I proceed to throw it on the 7-pin for a 2-box. I went, okay. I don't say a word to anyone. I pick up my ball.
Not only does he not say a word to anybody, I don't think the cumulative 12 other guys behind him said a damn thing at all.
Nope. And I proceeded to rip one of the fastest strikes I think I've ever thrown. And it was like a no doubt piss missile, 10 pins back. And I look over and there's Craig Holbrook, tears in his eyes, laughing.
Holding onto his belt, bent over, laughing.
Like leaving the pit area laughing.
That is 44 for 4 boxes with 3 strikes.
Yes.
With a double.
With a double. Yes. So
that might be the
You
stuff
did hear
you
that
see.
right. Yes, you did.
So I don't
That might be the like a Saturday morning coffee league score.
It's every once in a while, and I ran into this in Halifax and in Bangor, and there's a couple other places. Whatever they put on the plates, for some reason, has a reaction with, I don't know if it's the sweat in my hand or whatever, where I can almost go like this, and the ball just sticks to my hand. It is so good. I don't even have to put any grip on it. It's just something about it. And if I get too good of a grip, I will rip it to the left. And that's, of course, I'm trying to throw a triple. Because why would I just throw the fucking ball? Just.
Well, at that particular time, we were still in the hunt. That didn't last long. Yeah. So.
Do you remember what you filled the 3rd strike with?
Honestly?
I have to give you the chance to redeem yourself a little bit with you filled it with 8.
He left it. He filled it with 9 because he left the academy, as we dubbed it. I believe it was the 5-6-10 with the plank on the 6-10.
Yes.
Oh, I hate that shot.
Yeah.
I call that the emergency brake. No matter what you're doing, you leave that, it's over. At that point, you're that streak
unless
that you
the
were
wood
on.
Comes up or it's down low enough where you can actually hit the 10 in the corner and snap it straight across. That's the only way you can make it.
So let me ask you this, Marky, because you've bowled at Academy more than I have, and
Yes.
more than Brian has. What is it about Academy that causes the wood or the ball to jump? It seems like the wood reacts different at Academy.
My best guess with that, because I've looked at this before and I pay attention to very little subtle nuances that maybe a lot of people might not. I mean, I have my own lanes here, so I have to pay attention to those little nuances to make sure. I know scoring is tough here. It's an old bowling alley. The biggest thing that I've found that makes balls and pins jump, as opposed to maybe crunch or something, when you have a very high lip from the deck to the lane, when the lip is very high, or even at the regulation says half inch. It can't be any more than half inch. But when your lip is at a half inch, think about first of all, when we hit the head pin, our ball is not touching the lane. Our ball is in the air.
It's going down, like
It's going down, but it's still in the air.
Yeah, because you can see where the ball hits the pins because.
Is that the same on
indentation
synthetic decks though, where they just run the lane straight through?
Yes,
It's,
because
well, that's 10 pin. Candle
Oh.
pin synthetic. There must be a lip
yes.
by rule. There must
Okay.
be a lip. 10 pin, it does not, because there's no dead wood to
Right.
play in 10 pin. So 10 pin is from the foul line all the way to the back of the deck. It's one solid sheet. But in candle pin, there must be a lip by rule. It can't be any less than a 1/4 inch, I believe, and it can't be any more than a 1/2 inch. All my lips here are.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I think
Oh, boy.
Marky,
That.
he's there somewhere.
Oh, there
He's
he is.
back. Okay.
back.
Yeah.
Did I blow
he's
up?
back.
I'm sorry. Did I die?
Yeah, it's okay. So
Yeah.
we got to all the lips here are.
Okay. So I try to keep my lips as close to the level of the lane as possible. I have them as close to a 1/4 inch as I possibly can.
Yes. Yeah.
When you have a higher lip, especially with a wood that's out further, the ball is still in the air longer. It's going to hit up higher on the pin.
Which is causing it to.
It's going to jump the ball off, but it's also going to hit the pin down into the
Yeah.
deck. And when you hit it down, it's got no choice but to bounce up.
Right. It's gonna shoot up. Yeah. Okay.
So then, to me, then that explains Academy more.
Mhm.
Why there's some more funky wood. What I would
you'll-
call funky wood.
You'll notice that in a lot of pure synthetic houses. A lot
Yep.
of the houses that have not necessarily steel decks, but like the synthetic decks with the synthetic lanes, they'll all have very high lips. Because more often than not, the synthetic decks are screwed down to a certain level where they're non-adjustable. At least at candle pin. A lot of the 10 pin decks maybe,
Yeah.
but just to create that flat surface,
Yeah.
so they have to be adjustable. But in candle pin, there must be that lip. So if you have a very high lip and a deck that's a 1/2 inch underneath it, ball's always going to hit higher on whatever the hell it is.
So
Whether it's a
do
cap, it's a plank, it's the head pin itself.
So do you tend on something like that, Marky? Do you tend to throw a softer ball, like not as hard?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
I'm
so
a
you're
firm
still throwing
believer
it the same.
You throw your first ball as hard as you throw your third ball.
Well,
I don't believe in
that's
making
how
Do
I-
you
speed
change overall?
adjustments.
But do you believe in overall speed adjustments in a case like you're bowling an academy? Like, I don't throw as hard today because I know it's going to react different.
No. Me personally, absolutely not. I will throw the ball the same speed at Riverwalk, at Academy, at Bangor, at Lakeside in Manchester. It's just, I never believed in messing with speed. There's already enough variables in it. The one thing that you can control, honestly, is the speed at which you throw your ball. And I was never a fan of adapting my basic principles of how I roll to the house. I'll adjust my angle, yes. I'll adjust my slide, like how my approach to it, but I will never mess with my arm speed. Personally,
Okay.
I'll never mess with it.
All right. We do have a couple of questions here. So the first question, and I want to make sure I get to this one here. Here it is. So this is kind of an interesting question. So Mark Weber, he and I have had several conversations about bowling and going to the next level and everything else, because he's one of these young kids that is poised to take it to the next level.
Very much so. Very
Mhm.
much so.
Yeah.
I love watching him bowl.
So he was wondering, okay, I'm trying to decipher his question here real quick. What is to be considered a pro status bowler and what it takes to get there? So I guess he's considering, what do we consider a professional bowler for candlepin bowling? And kind of how do you get there? How do you get to that point?
This debate has had,
Yeah.
I'll take point on this real quick. This debate has been going around a long time. We've all seen on the Facebook forums, Candlepin chat and stuff like that. You can't just, I'm a 120 average. Well, you're not a professional because you don't get paid. And then it's an 87,000 comment thread that really simplified and came down to nothing. In my personal opinion, this has nothing to do with getting paid. This has nothing to do with getting money out of a tournament. When you can go to a scratch event and hang. Now, it's very subjective. I get it. I don't mean always make the cut. I don't mean you always are in the knockout event or you even got a dub or two here or there. When you get there and you don't feel like you're outclassed, when you get there and you're not afraid, when you look to one side and you see Sean Baker over there, and you go over that side, you see Craig Holbrook over there, or you see some of the young guns like Daly and McGinty, or some of the more experienced guys like you, Tim, or myself. When you get to a place and you know you can hang, you don't worry about, well, shit, I'm just here for the experience. And if you can go up there and hang and hit your average plus a whole hell of a bunch, it's a very subjective term to call yourself a professional bowler in Candlepin because of, like I said before, well, people say you're a professional when you get paid. Look, this is not professionally corporated, sponsored sporting events. This is a niche game in a section of the United States and an even smaller section of Canada. That it's almost a subculture, not even a niche. It's more of a subculture kind of a game. When you can go to a main event, no pun intended, and you can get to an event and you know you can put your money up and you can hang and that you'll be in contention at the end and you make a cut or two, if you could feel that inside when you walk to the next event, you've graduated beyond amateur. Now, are you established elite pro? No, but there's also different levels of sitting. Look, not every professional makes the Hall of Fame. I don't care what sport you play in it.
Yep.
But if you can get to a 10-stringer, a scratch event, you go to a scratch 5-stringer, and you're in the hunt, you're in the cut. You make it to the Easter Classic in the 20-stringer, you finish in the top like 25 out of 70 people, top 30 out of 70. You can legit say that you can hang. Calling yourself professional is a subjective term. When you've won a bunch of events, maybe you could say, yeah, I feel like I'm a pro at this, but even the pros fail more often than we succeed. So it's more, in my personal opinion, it's a misnomer to call yourself a professional and say that I am a true professional at this game. How you act, how you carry yourself is more professional telling than how many numbers or what your average or what your trophies are. Personally, we're at that level in the game. We don't have a sponsored TV show. We don't have Channel 5. We don't have TV 50. We don't have all these things where the TV stations just threw thousands of dollars at the show and said, okay, bring on the best of the best. We don't have that anymore. That's why averages are down. That's why houses are getting tougher. There's less roll-offs. There's less people striving because it's less on TV now. It's very, very difficult for all these guys when the crop of guys that averaged 120 a long time ago in our Friday Night Pro League anyway down here encompassed the first like 3/4 of the league averaged over 120. Now on the Friday Night Pro League, at least before COVID changed the way things were, I'd say out of the 60 guys that were in the league, 15 of us averaged 120. So the compete level is down because there's not enough high level out there to go get it. So the definition of professional in our game, I feel, has changed. It's more of an individual situation, how you carry yourself, how you walk around. Are you walking around the bowling alley just to go have beers and talk shit about somebody? Or are you walking to the bowling alley to go in there and prove it that you can hang and that no matter what, you'll be there? It's very difficult to like nail down this is a professional nowadays.
I 100% agree with you, Mark. I agree that it's not so much what you score and how many cuts you make and if you win, it's how you carry yourself. There's a difference between a guy that goes up there, throws a double strike, pumps his fists, like, all right, now I got to fill it. And or if you throw a double strike and you win a match, yeah, you can celebrate a little bit. But we've all seen the guys that get up there and they throw one strike and they're jumping up and down and they're screaming in a 5-string roll-off. You don't get to call yourself a professional. The community dubs whether or not you're a professional. It's kind of like being welcomed in. It's like you gain the respect once you earn it to be a professional. Yeah, that's my explanation.
Okay. I'm not going to expound on that because it's pretty much what it was. when I was first coming up, late 80s, early 90s, the people that I considered professional bowlers were Russ Neely, Al Joy, Charlie Milan, Chip Carson, Tommy Olsta, Paul Berger, these guys that carried themselves in a way that they weren't better than anyone else, but they went into the house going, okay, who's bowling for second?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say it.
The way they walked into a bowling alley was
they
good
didn't
for
pull a
5
Larry Bird
pins.
and walk in and say, okay, who's bowling for second? But in their mind, they're looking, all right, who's my competition today? The second part of that, what does it take to get there?
Experience and losing.
Yeah. Losing is the best thing that can happen to a young bowler coming into the adults and figuring out their way. You come in and you win everything. Okay, great. Then when you lose, you don't know how to deal with it. Losing in a high pressure situation makes winning that much sweeter because you figured out the mistakes that you made. Just because you could hit the head pin and knock pins over does not make you a winner in this game. It makes you on par with your peers. If you're going to carry yourself as a professional, you're not always going to win. But if you can lose and still carry yourself like a professional and go over and shake somebody's hand and not just boot a ball rack. Look, we've all done it.
Yep.
But those of us that grew out of it and have realized that it's not the only thing, you've learned from how you've lost. Those are the ones that excel further and faster.
Go kick the ever-loving shit out of your suitcase in the hotel room after you shake everybody's hand. I've done that.
So I use this as an example when people ask me, why it's important to learn how to lose. A couple of years ago in the mixed worlds up in Bangor, one of the gut punch moments for me as a bowler was we bowled in the final string. We had a roll off. We tied for first. We had a roll off. I missed an easy shot in the 9th. I made my shot in the 10th, but I missed an easy shot in the 9th. It happens. Okay. We moved on. Got to the last 2 boxes, 17-pin lead. And I watched one of the great moments of candlepin bowling is when there's something on the line and someone does something unexpected in a positive way. It happened against us. Godwin went out and made a great shot for a spare in the 9th, threw an absolute piss missile in the 10th for a hammer, filled it with a 9. Makes up a 17-point deficit in 2 boxes. Wins 10 grand.
Yep.
Okay. Gut punch moment. I was the first one to congratulate Davey.
As you should be.
I was there before his team was there. Not for any other reason, not for my, whatever, other than, number one, Davey's a friend of mine. And I was happy as hell that he did something that, frankly, a lot of us dream of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us have done it. We've all won things in the last box or two. But for a title, for a decent amount of money, under that pressure against the home team, damn right I was going to be the first one over there to shake his hand and give him a hug.
Absolutely.
Damn right. I'd do it 10 out of 10 times. I don't care. Absolutely. You have to learn to, and I'll say this right to you, Mark Weber. You want to become a professional, you have to learn how to lose with grace and dignity. It took me a very long time to learn that. Because I tell you right now, in my 20s and in my 30s, halfway through my 30s, I was a dick when I lost. I'll admit it. I'd shake your hand. I'd congratulate you. But I didn't take losing well, but that's because I didn't learn how to lose. To become a professional bowler or a professional candlepin bowler, you're never going to make money at it. It's just not going to happen. The days
Not
of
anymore.
making $30,000 a year in TV like Tommy Olster did, that's gone. That ain't going to happen. The most you might make, a couple $1,000s in a year, after you pay all your, that's if you win every damn tournament you're in.
Right.
Okay, it's just not going to happen. So professional is all about how you carry yourself, and it's all about how you carry yourself when you're winning and how you carry yourself when you're losing.
There's a difference, and I used to tell the Pee Wee kids I coached in football this. I go, you never accept when you lose something. If you lose it, don't accept it. Go find it. Go get it. I go, but if you get beat, you need to learn to accept you got beat and try harder to not get beat again. Because if someone outright beats you, they were better than you that day. You accept it. You try harder. If you lose something, you can be a little irritated with yourself, but it should motivate you to try harder. It's when you don't do that, when you're like, well, ball stuck to my hand. The guy lobbed. He got lucky. He stole it. He shit it out. Like,
Right.
dude, come on.
We all know guys like that. Look, I'll say it.
We've been guilty of that, though. We all
gonna
have been.
Every
I'm
one
not
of
going to
us.
name names, but we know some damn good bowlers who have won a bunch of shit that never
But have
lose,
never got beat.
but have never gotten beat because the other guy got lucky, or he was lobbing it the entire time, or or I heard someone down on lane 24 when I'm on lane 2, and that distracted me. No, we all know guys like that. I mean, look, I could probably list 10 guys right now. If I really wanted to be a dick and I really wanted to create some havoc, I'd list 10 guys right now that are the biggest douchebags in bowling. I'm not going to.
You want to know something, though? You want to know how you be a professional? You carry yourself like Craig Holbrook. That is the model of professionalism.
Absolutely.
Absolute gentleman on the lane, gentleman to everybody around him, friendly to talk to, and is a hell of a bowler, but you would never know it because, he gets excited. He should. He's a great bowler. But it's always the same. He's always like, hey, you made a good shot too. Or, hey, nice strength. Like, it's about you more than it's about him. And that's how you care. It's for the betterment of the sport. And that's how you be a professional.
Jason Kaler.
That too. Yes.
I've never seen anyone as good as Jason that congratulates the person he's bowling against on either every ball or every box.
He likes to wait. He watches every ball somebody throws.
He does it in tournaments.
He does it in the Worlds.
He does it in the Worlds, and he still averages 120 plus. And I can't do it. I can't. When I'm bowling, and Brian has seen it, when I'm bowling and I'm bowling good, I have no idea what's going on next to me.
Yep.
Couldn't tell you. Like, I've done it with Brian. He's like, oh, did you see that shot I just had? And I'm like, no.
Most of the time it's, no, I'm too busy stomping your ass into the ground.
Well, if he's going against you, then it's the point.
Yeah.
And you'd say the same thing to him.
Yeah, but sometimes, but it's not on the lane. It's when I walk off. I'm like, hey, did you see the shot I had in the fourth? And he's like, nah, I didn't see shit.
Mm-hmm.
He says that when he keeps score, though, too.
I do. I'm such a terrible scorekeeper. The last question, and then we're going to wrap it up for this week because we're already gone over a little bit. And we didn't get to a couple other questions, but that's okay.
We'll get to them.
More questions that we have, the more.
Well, don't send them because Calvin gets mad if we say send questions and we don't answer.
No, you know what? So. I don't care. Send all the questions you want, and we'll get to them eventually. Maybe not in the time frame that Calvin appreciates, but we will get to them. So we have a question from our friend, Ivan Drago's cousin's uncle's nephew, niece's son, Ryan.
Oh, Ryan, yes.
Yep, Ryan has sent us a question. If you were a bowling center proprietor, Marky, in your opinion, what is a good amount of lanes to have in your bowling center? I'm gonna answer this real quick, and then I'm gonna let you guys think about this.
Okay.
In a perfect world, I
Yes.
would love to have 32 lanes. And I'll tell you why. Because I could have the worlds and I'd have warm-up lanes. That's the only reason that why I would want 32 lanes. Or give me 24 lanes here and then 6 birthday party lanes over here.
Ah, you
And I
bastard!
can
You stole my thought.
and I'll have those as warm-up lanes for the world.
Yeah, you stole my thought. I wanted to have 24 and then have an 8-lane birthday party room off to the right with a wall and a door, and you don't have to listen to kids scream and play video games and but during a
But
week,
during-
but during
yeah.
the worlds, it's you go in there and you can just be away from the madness that is the worlds and
You
just
can warm
watch random people warm up. We've all been in there. We all haven't gone down to that area to warm up before. Sometimes it's just nice to go down there and sit where it's not 18,000 decibels loud.
True.
So that's what I'll say. What about you, Mackie?
So, all right. Listening to your answers, you assume in your answers that you have lots of staff working for you. Okay.
Yes.
Let me preface this that my bowling alley.
I won the
for example,
Powerball.
if I won Powerball or Mega Millions, I could tell you right now, I would absolutely buy a piece of land somewhere between Auburn and Portland, right off the highway, right off an exit. Okay.
The bowling alley is the effing exit at that point when you have that much money.
No, I don't want to pay for them to put an exit in. It would call it Portland, whatever. It would be in a place where there's people. Okay, I could not have a 32-lane house here in Rockland, Maine. You couldn't do it. It wouldn't be feasible. You would lose so much money, and you'd never be able to fill more than
12.
12 lanes. You might get 20 lanes in a tournament, but I got to be smart about this. So a Bangor, Augusta, Lewiston, Portland area, 32 lanes. Yes, I would have staff.
Okay. Coming from a guy that has no staff, I have me, my 2 hands, and 8 machines to take care of. In my personal opinion, and I think Mr. BJ that lives up in Woodstock and runs Woodstock Bowlacade would agree with me on this. I don't think that one guy can keep a handle on more than 12 machines at once.
Yeah.
I have a hard enough time with 8 machines that are trying to vibrate themselves apart at the seams every night. If it was me personally and I was running my own center, I would have 12 lanes. I would have 8 lanes as my open to customers. Let's face it, if you're in a certain area, you're having a hard time filling 24, 48 lanes. And people are like, oh, well, all you gotta do is put in a location. Okay, well, Mr. Teddy DeBurrow down at Academy now has 44 lanes. And he does not fill 44 lanes a day. In this era at the moment, 8 lanes for your leagues, even 10 lanes for your leagues, 2 lanes for your birthday party rentals, and you are running a solid family mom and pop business.
Yep.
If I have one Powerball, like you were saying, Big B, I'm building a 32-lane center. Or at minimum, I would build like a 30-lane center. Absolutely. I would have
It would
Candlepin.
be bowling mecca.
I would have some Candlepin. I would have my video games. I would have the whole center as people think of a bowling center. You have your arcade, you have your pizza, you have your bar.
I'd have a wrestling ring, a full-size 18 by 18 wrestling ring.
Being serious real quick is Kingswood, in my mind, is the epitome of what kind of bowling is transitioning to. So if I had 30 lanes or 32 lanes, I would have mini golf during the summer. I would have
go-karts.
I don't know about, I mean, you got insurance for those types of things, but
Dude,
similar.
You're not throwing turtle shells at each other.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we are. Realistically, yes. 32 lanes. I would have room. I would have a TV lanes. I'll tell you right now.
Just 2 random TV lanes just there.
No, because I'd have a damn TV show.
Mhm.
We would have, maybe not TV, it'd be internet probably, because that's kind of where it's
Twitch.
moving to.
Cannabis
Yes.
Bowling on Twitch.
But it
Yes.
would be, we would have
I'm working on that.
an actual show. We would have stands. I loved the way Pilgrim Lanes used to have the stands.
And Kingswood at the Worlds, they had the bleachers.
They had the bleachers.
Mhm.
That's perfect. So, anyway, Ryan, great question. Maybe we'll expound on that a little more next week. Who knows?
Mhm.
Oh, I had a hell of a lot more to say about that question. So yeah, I'd like
Okay.
a chance to go back at that question for
Okay.
another 5 or 10 minutes. As the owner in the group, like I got a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ryan Drago, great question. Thank
And our
you.
delusions of grandeur.
We are going to address that in more depth and detail next week. Folks, thank you for listening. We certainly appreciate it. Again, please, Calvin, send us your questions. Do it in spite of Calvin. Do it. Send us your questions, your
We're
comments.
going to get
your
like
concerns.
2,000 questions.
I hope so.
now.
Send it to us. Send it to us on Ripping the Rack at Ripping the Rack Podcast at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at Ripping the Rack Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Ripping the Rack Podcast. Brian, where else can they find us?
Well, Tim, they can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and wherever else they listen to their podcast mediums.
Perfect. Thank you. Guys, have a great week. Don't forget Friday morning, fun Friday edition of Ripping the Rack Podcast with the Triforce Tri-Hosts.
Top 10 action movies.
Top
Our
10 action
favorites.
movies.
That's right.
Yep, our own top 10, not the
Not all
world's
time.
top 10. This is our own personal top 10 action movies. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a great week. Peace.
Later.